It's a little bit earlier than planned, but maybe I can just start with a little introduction about the Smart Sensor Challenge for people that are watching and don't know what it is. I think around March, Holland Contact and PropTech, the company that I work for and that I'm responsible for the marketing and communications, as well as Real Estate Futureproof, started a challenge to find out the smartest sensors in Europe and abroad, or outside Europe too. Did that with 20 real estate companies and municipalities like Amsterdam and Rotterdam here in the Netherlands, and really said, okay, where are these companies located? What do they do? And all collected them. So I think that's good for the people to know that this is how this group of people connected and came together. And this session is specifically about water management. And I think it's a good, we're not that big of a group, so I think we have a little bit more time, each of us, to just give an introduction about yourself. What do you do? What company do you work for / own? And tell us, enlighten us a little bit more about your business. So I'd like to start with Noah.
That's fine. Do you want me to start with introducing myself and after that say something about the company I work for?
Yeah, sure. That sounds perfect.
Okay, good. So hi guys. I'm Noah Matoko. I live in the Netherlands and I work for the company Smartvatten. Well, Smartvatten is originally a Finnish company, and we've been extending across the border since a few years now. We've been working in Holland for about 2 years now, and are currently strengthening our position on the market. So the question arises, so what is Smartvatten actually? So at Smartvatten, we provide a solution for our customers to digitalize their water consumption of their building without having any installations being adjusted. Well, the question arises, how do we do that? Well, we have a simple device that's called the Smartvatten device. And it's actually a camera that you put on top of an analog water meter. And the camera takes a picture every minute and translates it to data that goes up into the cloud. Well, once it's in the cloud, our algorithms start working. I think it works quite similar to our friends here in the chat. But yeah, once it starts working, it starts looking for leakages and seeing what's happening within the building. What kind of consumption do you have during the day? And within the platform, you get to see, where do I have a leak? How big is it? What does it do to my building? And when have I fixed it? So because the device monitors the water consumption every minute, you can see once the leak is fixed, it becomes insightful. So that's what our product is. It's actually a plug and play water monitoring device. It works on 4G, so that way it's a completely plug and play. You can plug it in, and it starts monitoring within the platform. And I think the platform is actually one of the key things that helps us set us apart from similar companies. So what we do is we provide the GRASP insights, the monthly reporting for our customers, because it is one step for them to want to see what's happening within the building with their water consumption. And it's the next step. What are we going to do with it? What are we aiming for? And that's where we come in and want to help our customers. So for example, we are working with NSC here in Holland. They are really aiming to provide the best office solutions to their customers, have complete grip of their property management. Well, we provide the water solution and the insights on those parts. And if I look at what do we stand for at Smartvatten, I think our product is actually the tool that we help to provide for a solution. As a company, we are aiming to make it knowledgeable, make it accessible for other peoples and companies to see what future we're going towards to. I think drinkable water has been stated by the UN that by the time of 2030, 30% of the water consumption that's drinkable is not accessible for all the people, for 30% of the people in the world. And I think at what Smartvatten here, we are trying to have our partners aim for that goal to reduce that.
Cool. Thanks for your introduction. Then I'll move on, and then afterwards I have some questions. And also before I move on, it's good we have got 11 viewers. I already want to mention that if you have questions for these guys, feel free to add them in the chat, because that's what it's for, and we try to make it as dynamic and as possible. But before or in the meantime, I'll go to Robert Lan. Could you please introduce yourself?
Hi guys, Robert Lan. I work for a company called Sensitive. We're a Swedish company, actually Smartvatten. That's Swedish, right, Noah?
Yes, yes, you're exactly right.
Smart water, yeah. So, yeah, we're an IoT company with two lines of businesses. One is we have a line of sensors, or strips. Actually, Tom, did you receive a sample? I actually sent one to you.
Yeah, we actually did. It got in, I think, beginning of this week or end of last week. Okay. And yeah, we did. So that's perfect. We'll do some. We'll post something about it soon. We were, of course, very busy with the whole preparation for Real Estate Futureproof. But we'll talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Because I think we received 3 packages, right?
Yeah. You're supposed to do. I hope the logistics worked out. Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Your special delivery, Tom, later on. But
yeah.
So we have our own line of sensors, which we sell, independently from. So you can use it in any kind of platform that you are using. Then our other line of business is we sell an IoT integration platform called Ygio, where we, much like the sensor side, we can work with any kind of sensors that our customer is using. So we are all about an open, modularized kind of IoT architecture for real estate companies. Specifically, because this session is about the smart sensors, right? So I'll try to focus on the sensors. So these are the sensors. They are like 3 millimeter thick with a 10-year no maintenance kind of approach. So we work with both C-Wave and LoRaWAN right now. So we have a number of different kind of things that we detect, like temperature, humidity, and doors and windows open and closed. But we also have a water leakage detection sensor. So you place this actually where you would suppose that the water will flow, and we will detect whether or not something is going on, which is of course critical to the real estate company, because these water leakages is expensive to take care of. So that's the 2-minute version. Let's get back to questions later on, and I'll move on.
Exactly, perfect. Thanks for your introduction, Alfonso. Then I'll move on to you.
Well, hi everybody. I am Alfonso. I hope you can all hear me well, and I am a partnerships officer at Shape. Thanks so much for having us, and especially me. It's great to be part of this roundtable, especially with such like-minded entrepreneurs. Just a quick note, I think that having Smartvatten, Leaklook, as well as us, Shape, all together is a great opportunity to showcase that not only that demand for water management solutions is on the rise, but also that there is a long way to go and a lot of work to be done to raise awareness of the importance of minimizing non-revenue water. So it's a pleasure to share the table with you guys. Leakage and the associated water damages are some of the most common problems taking place in cities today. Let me talk a bit about the problematic behind Shape. These cost both property owners and insurance carriers billions of euros every year. And sadly, while we are all aware of the need to preserve water, there is a massive difference between the risk of water stress and public knowledge around this topic. So how does Shape fit in this problematic? We help consumers reduce their water bill by more than 20% and reduce their risk of water damage by 50%. And we do this by streamlining maintenance through prioritization purpose. We detect leaks in real time and send alerts to the end user. It doesn't stop there, but let me go a bit into the software and the hardware, the two-in-one solution. The hardware side connects to the water meter without electricity or Wi-Fi. It's a very simple installation. Takes about 5-7 minutes. I've done it myself. Really easy, and monitors the water flow. And on the other side, there's a software solution, which is AI powered. And number one, it flags leaks. Number two, it quantifies the cost of the leak. And number three, it serves as a tool to keep track of the maintenance process. And this is all englobed within our software platform. It's open API, so companies can introduce this software within their existing building management software. And Shape equips our solution in all sorts of buildings, and from hospitals to stadiums, residential, commercial, real estate, everything. And we constantly achieve a payback of less than a year thanks to our early leak detection and reactive maintenance. We hope to help our users take conscience really of the importance of saving every possible liter of water, not only to prevent these damages that really present a big problematic in terms of, but also to save water in general and contribute to a more.
Thanks, Alfonso. Then, last but not least, Phil, or Philly, how do I pronounce it?
Ville.
Ville. So a lot of
Ville.
Scandinavian people here. 3.
Yeah, I count. What, 2?
Oh.
Yeah, three companies from
Yeah.
Scandinavia.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, 2. Yeah. Well, maybe it's because we have plenty of water. There's always like in Finland, there's thousands of lakes, tens of thousands of lakes, and we don't really need to worry about the water because we know that there's a lot of water. So in that sense, why we are the ones who are developing these water analysis tools, maybe it's because we do have that much water, and we know what to do with that water.
It makes sense.
All in all, the Scandinavian countries are usually quite forward thinkers in modern technology, like 3G or 5 at the moment 5G and any technology. Scandinavian countries are in upfront on that. But yeah, my name is Ville Strandman, and company where I'm from is called Leaklook, and what we do leak detection as well.
How surprising.
Yeah. But what we see us as a water data analysis company, and we are the water data company which uses modern technologies to analyze the water data and uses. We dig into the water data and we found out how much the building or the user has been using water, and we can tell you that there's been this many showers or there's 15 leaking toilets in your building, because we think if you want to save water, you really need to know where are you using it, and if you don't know how much where the water is going, it's really hard to save water. So we really want to dig in to the data and find out which are the appliances using the water. Are the toilets, or is it a shower, or what causes the water usage? So we use modern technologies like AI and we go into frequency level of the data, and we can find out different things from the data, even they are stacked on top of another. So in that sense, we are data analysis company more than anything else. But I think the problem at the moment with this market is the water meters, which are not producing that much data that we really need. So that's why there's companies like Smartvatten and Leaklook and Shaup we are building different kind of devices to capture the data from existing water meters, which is quite stupid actually. But at the moment, we have to do that. In a long run, things will change, and the water meters will be smart, and we can just dig into the data and do the analysis. But yeah, we use different kind of tools to have the data. We can use the water meters. There might be in the building if they're already digital and connected to internet. We can use the reader, which is a camera, just like with smart button. We can use the pulses. So we do the hard work. We digitalize the old-fashioned data, no matter where it comes from. But yeah. In all, we do analysis and try to help people to have healthier buildings and make them use less water.
Is there already some collaboration between you guys, or do you stay away from that? Because I'm of course not an expert in water management. I hear 4 different stories that are different, but also quite similar. Maybe you can take the viewers and me a little bit in like, what do you differ from the others, or how you can strengthen each other?
Yeah, of course. Like the one thing we've been talking with these companies, that could we share the technologies like the hardware to help us to capture the data from different kind of water meters, and that's something we can do, of course. And
yeah, well, from my end, we are all about, like I said in my introduction, about like an open modularized architecture where the hardware is separated from, the communication is separated from the, like an integration level, and then on top of that you do your smart things. So usually when we work with our IoT integration platform, guys like Ville, they usually love us because we produce lots of data for them to fiddle around with and do their cool dashboards and stuff like that. We don't do that. We make sure that we can connect to whatever kind of device or technology you are using. So we are actually working with a number of different cases in the water management space, but it's not typically our, hardware that is in play. So we are working with, like in a golf course, we're working, to measure the moisture level, so they don't need to water so much, or actually they water usually too much. And we are working with not only water leak detection, but also, sensing how much water they are consuming. And then if you combine that with other types of data, how many people are in an apartment, what's the temperature, what's the ventilation like right now, what's the climate outside, and so forth, then, you can produce all this in one platform and produce it upwards and through a standard modern API, and guys like Ville and others will be happy to do these things. So we are happy to collaborate with any kind of hardware companies doing these cool devices.
Noah, was there something you wanted to add? Because I think you also wanted to say something about that.
Yeah, can you guys hear me clearly? It felt like my connection ran out.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I completely agree also with Robert and Ville, and I think also with Alfonso, he shares his opinion. I think about this too. I think it's finding the data you want to connect, and no.
Yeah, it's working.
Is it? It is Noah, right? That has some problems. I think I'm still here. Robert is also shaking his head.
I'm here.
Yeah, I was doubting as well if it was me, but I think it's Noah. Yeah, Noah, your connection is not that strong, I believe. But you seem to be back.
Yeah.
Kind of. Maybe Alfonso, in the meantime, do you have to add something to this? Well, stacking up, I think, of possibilities that you can all add to.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting what Ville was talking about. Evidently, there's a lot of potential cross collaboration in terms of the technologies that we use. But also a point that I wanted to stress out from what Ville said was the fact that right now analog meters really, they telematics, and telematic water meter reading is something almost a given. It's about pushing a bit innovation in the water sector, what we are all about. We want to raise the conversation between water companies, real estate actors, in all, the whole ecosystem, and try to give a voice really to the importance of collecting all this data. Also, evidently, what Robert was talking about, cross-checking this data with other very insightful information about buildings that
Look.
could lead. There you are, Noah. That can lead to very valuable information, and that can give the power to the owner or to the property owner, to the water bill payer, to take those decisions. For instance, of taking a shorter shower. You know, if he knows that that's where its money's going down the drain, well, yeah, let's reduce that. So yeah, evidently, data analytics is the way forward, and in Shape we also believe so.
Cool, thanks. And if you start a company or work for a company, your goal is to solve problems usually. Is there specific countries in Europe or outside where you see these problems with water leakage? Well, is there certain countries, or you cannot say that?
Well, what we see that we haven't found really a different country where more leaks than in other countries.
Yeah.
But there's of course differences how you measure water and who owns the water meter. Here in the Nordics, except Norway. Norway is a different story. I'll tell you a bit later. But the utility company usually owns the main water meter.
Yeah.
But like in some countries, the utility company don't own. Like in England, they don't own the main meter in every case. Okay, then the Norway is a different story. They don't really measure the water.
Yeah.
They just bill you if you heat the water. But in many cases, the water is free because they have a lot of glaciers and they have plenty of water, and they also have the oil and money.
Yeah,
So the water is free.
They are measuring the oil instead.
Yeah.
Well, it's also a liquid. You can probably use
Yeah.
But SmartVatten is doing a lot in the Netherlands. I think we guys, Tim. We had a Tim at the office, I believe. We see a lot in our network.
Yeah. So if I can add on to the things you can improve on. So for example, here in Holland, water is very cheap. So that's one of the most common comments I get across. It's, yeah, I pay like 50 euros a year for my water, so why should I take the next step?
Yeah.
Well, if we look at that, there are, for example, just like you said, Germany, for example, has a water price that's 5 times higher than our price here in Holland.
That's
so
crazy.
If you look at what would a leak do if it started leaking in Germany price-wise, we can say here, okay, maybe it doesn't cost a lot of money, but the next step is what happens if your building gets damaged. Like the rest of the people here say, I think the insurance companies pay out the most money for water damages. I think to prevent that, or at least get notified the moment something gets started, that's the thing you want to look out for.
I have another angle. One real estate company that we are working with, they are, of course, it's the utility company that provides the clean, fresh water into the building, and they have meters which we are monitoring for how much they consume. But from a sustainability perspective, what the real estate company would really like is to start paying instead for the amount of water that you put back, like wastewater, going back to be purified, because that would give an incentive for both the real estate company and the tenant to start using less water. But today it's the payment is based on how much you use instead, and also in Sweden it's kind of cheap. So there's no really sustainability incentive reasons for saving water, which is a problem.
Yeah, I think I have another interesting angle. So in Holland, there's a few processes that are made to the water utility companies that every property manager and company has to do. You have to send a picture of what the current water stand is. It's about 2 times a year.
Yeah.
Well, for every time they send an installation person to the location back and forth, you got 2 times traveling. Well, you could have your data digitally. And another step is and this is something we're also working on. What would happen if the water utility company got all the data throughout the digital meter? Then the whole process of invoicing, showing what happens within the year, it all makes it a bit shorter.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, what we've seen.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, what we've seen here in Finland and also in Austria as well, that we have talked a lot with the utility companies, the companies who provide water. That would you be interested in real-time data, and would you be like happy if you could make more profit by using the data you already collect? But the utility companies who are only serving the water, they are not really interested in making more money because they're government owned, so they are fine. They don't really have to do money, just provide the water. But what strange things what we've seen is that energy companies have like figured out that, hey, we could add the water data also in our systems and make money with the water data, even we don't provide it.
Mm-hmm.
So and that happens a lot. We are doing pilots in Austria and in Finland with big energy companies who want to add value to their customers with water data, even they don't provide the water. But they are like smart thinkers if you compare them to the traditional water utility companies. So.
And is there a switch now for you guys? Because I can imagine most of you are looking at commercial real estate companies. Of course, you're also using water at home, or are you doing both? Because before people were spending a lot of time at the office, but now it actually turned around. So people are not that much at the office anymore, but more at home. The water uses at home is probably more and gonna be more. What is your view upon that, Alfonso?
Well, obviously with the current situation and the current circumstances, obviously home consumption has risen a lot, but also you have to take it from the other angle. There's a lot of empty properties as well. These empty properties will for sure leak, and these leakages will come to light at this day and age.
Yeah.
Recently, we kind of closed on ourselves on the idea of selling directly to consumers, but we do it in shape. We do it through partner like water companies, insurance carriers, which really it's all about the new services that they can offer to their customers in terms of data analytics, breakdown of consumption. That was something Vila was talking about, and we find it incredibly interesting. But yeah, we only sell directly to business at the moment, and we're finding right now quite a big trend of a lot of leaks being discovered, a lot of non-revenue water being identified, thanks to the current situation, exactly, of working from home.
Yeah, we monitor residential buildings, like big residential and also office buildings. And we've seen from the data that people are still using the same amount of water, but it's from the different building. It's residential building. We also look after some schools, and they've been quite quiet lately.
Yeah, I'm not sure, what in what shape the organizations are in the Netherlands, but I can all of us around this table, we see the possibilities with the technology. But I think that the business side of thing, the pull for using these modern technology, it's actually happening right now, and different companies are starting to figure out how to monetize and how to do things smarter. So I think we will, moving forward from here, especially after the COVID situation, people will start to really take digitalization for real. So I think we all have a good future ahead of us.
Yeah. I think one of the keynote speakers on the main stage also said it. Companies were looking in the future, like, when do we have to digitalize? And now everybody is wondering what's happening with my building while I'm not in the building.
Absolutely.
That's also one of the key things to control your own properties.
Yeah.
I was hoping, actually, guys, we mentioned it quite some times, to have some questions from the audience. But we still, actually, this session already ended, but I think we can go a little bit more. Maybe there are still some before we wrap up. Peter Lenter says something about it is starting, but it goes slowly. You guys are probably...
Yeah, there are
Yeah.
some early adapters, has gotten further in their mindset and education level, and of course these guys will be they will do some errors and some mistakes, but they will eventually prosper. While these old typewriter kind of companies, they will have a struggle.
Yeah. It is really the time to step up your game and digitalize. Well, you see that pilot are adapted, but the real thing costs a lot more. That's a statement.
Yeah, well, from my standpoint, we are doing the real thing, and you can do it while still doing it at a moderate cost. You need to start to paint your picture as a real estate owner or any given organization. Do the big architecture, and then you can actually start very small with simple use cases, and quite easy to get started, and then add use cases and do your thing. So you don't need to be afraid of the cost, I think, because the cost of not doing anything is going to be way bigger.
It bites you on the back, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and Peter Lenter said one more thing. I think you guys can all read that too. That's a problem. They don't already see the new possibilities.
Yeah.
Well, guys. Oh, wait. Totally other use case for water LED. I think this is also not a question. It's good.
But yeah, I have a comment on this one, if I can say.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
We have an alert in our system, so you can, if you want to use it, you can. If there's no water usage, we'll send you an alarm if you want, and it's meant for the elder people. So if there's no water taken before the noon, then probably there's something wrong in that apartment, and so it's happening. Yes,
yeah,
right.
Completely. Yeah. If I may add to your point, Ville, there's also some use cases where, interestingly enough, the water consumption is monitored in the case of elderly homes or elderly residential properties, in order to pinpoint exactly what chronic illnesses could they be having. And this is interesting. Concerning this with the medical area, it's definitely a use case ready to be highlighted, I think, in the near future.
Yeah, that's great.
And well, I think it's good to connect also with Peter Lenters, if you have not done so yet, because he seems to be like very active in this chat. If you guys don't have any other things, I would like to wrap it up, because we've got a lot of sessions going on here at the Holland Contact and PropTech Clubhouse. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn or send me a message. Robert, I already looked you up on LinkedIn since you were mentioning the products. I couldn't find you.
Well, I'm all there, so
okay.
I'll look you up, Tom.
Yeah, perfect. Then feel free to contact me, and maybe we can help you with the whole the whole market here in the Netherlands. Like SmartVatten is already active in our network, so feel free, guys. And for now, I want to thank you very much for the session. And if you're going to some other sessions today, well, enjoy and have fun, and have a good day, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Bye.